Welcome back to another tiny garage adventure. Today, as you can see, we have the flare. I'm sick right now, so I don't know how much work I'm going to do today, but I want to at least get a start. So I got these flares off of eBay. It's a seller out of Ukraine. I'll link it down below because he was really good to work with. I originally ordered them. I thought I was getting the entire set, but I only got the front. And, as soon as they showed up, I messaged them, said, hey, this was my mistake. I didn't realize the ad said it was only the front. How can I get the rear? Because he has a kit with the front and the rear, but he didn't have one with just the rear. Guy messaged right away, said, no problem, just put in an offer for this much on the front ones, but put in a comment saying you need the rear. I'll send them out to you. As far as coming from Ukraine, this shipping time was very fast. I think I put in the order for the rears on the 6th of September, and right now it is the 26th, so still about a month, but not bad at all for coming overseas. Talking quality, I mean, there are some issues here and there. They're not going to show up too well on camera, but there's some chips, some pitting, a little scratching that's probably just from the mold coming in and out of the mold. So these are still going to need some body work. Overall, not too bad. I'm happy with them. The rear comes in two parts. That part goes on the door. That part goes on the fender or the quarter panel and the bumper. Coming into the car here, then I'm going to start on the passenger side, because if this goes horribly wrong and I make a mistake, this fender needs to be replaced anyway. I'm going to need to take the side skirt off. The fact that previous owner just drove some screws into it, I'm sure there's going to be some rust underneath there, but as long as we don't look at it, it doesn't exist. But otherwise, I believe, I've never actually done this before, so don't quote me on this just yet, but I believe the side skirt just kind of pops out. There might be some tabs or bolts underneath, but we're going to get that off. We're going to get the mud flaps off because those are dragging on the ground anyway. And then we will have to cut right where this rust is to get the flare in there. Cut a chunk like that, and then eventually we're going to have to cut out some of this up here. So let's get started. Hey, it's me from the future popping in here. I want to take a quick pause and apologize for the train wreck that this video is. So I didn't do a great job of filming stuff, and a lot of that is because, as the title says, mistakes were made. It went bad very quickly. So I might say some of this in the video coming up, I might not. But so what I did is I started with the front passenger fender because that was the one that was rusty, and the one that, if things went bad far enough to where they couldn't be salvaged, I had to replace it anyway, so it wasn't any kind of loss. So the process that I chose, that I'm not sure if I said or not, is I use riv nuts. It's a cheap option. I just had to get the tool for it. I'm not going to include that in my running total because tools aren't modifying the car. I'm just going with parts as far as modifying the car. But yeah, I went with riv nuts because it'll be easier if I ever have to take it on and off. You'll see in the video coming up that there are some gaps. I'm going to be working on that. I'm going to be heating stuff. I'm also going to put on a gasket or some kind of sealer just to close that gap a little bit. Some spots I might have to use body filler just to, get it to fit a little better. But yeah, the video kind of went off the rails after I started making mistakes. And they were very stupid mistakes, but I'm very critical of myself. So when I make mistakes that are definitely stupid mistakes, like I said, the video went off the rails, and it was just because I was pissed off at myself. I didn't feel like filming. I wasn't in a good mood. And that did come through on video, so there's my apology for that, and let's get into the video. These do not come without some body work, apparently. So I already screwed up here. the whole measure once, cut twice. But yeah, all over, it doesn't fit quite flush to the body. It's the same back here. Gonna have to do some trimming just to get it to fit nicely. First time ever touching a welder. Don't judge me. I know that sucks. I also know I grabbed the wrong welder. I got a flux core welder, not what you want for body work. So don't take welding advice from me, except for that. Don't use flux core welder for body work. So it's roughly on here. Now is it where it comes to doing some body work. So I cut off too much here. I had to weld in a spot there. It's not very good, but as you can see, there's a gap here, so I gotta do some body work anyway. Doesn't quite match up on this body line here. Gotta cut out the wheel well a little bit. This is just down, it'll go up a little bit. And then at the end, we're gonna have to get some wheel spacers, obviously. I think this is what I'm gonna call day one, because I'm frustrated. So I got the front, I fit it all right. I ended up having to cut a little notch right here to fit it a little better. Front's good. The rear was a bitch. So and this is where it sits. I matched up all the lines and everything. It's where it needs to be, but you got that much to cut out. I don't have that much to cut out because that's right up to the door. So I got holes in the door now, and I gotta figure out what to do with this. Alright, quick little update. I don't know why this didn't work the first time, but this is where everything needs to be, so I need to get some metal, fill those holes, and end up getting some more riv nuts. Alright, so I was ready to stop filming. You guys missed a lot because I was just in a bad mood. But what happened is I had to drill out some of those riv nuts, cut little patch panels out of the metal, weld them in the holes, bound to it, and now we are finally ready to keep going. All I gotta do here still is just a little finessing with the heat gun and probably cutting a little bit out because there's a gap here. When I push it in, it makes that body gap. It's a terrible gap, but it's better. And then I just gotta heat it and kind of finesse it, make it fit a lot better. I'm sorry I didn't talk a whole lot, but the whole process here basically is riv nuts, measure a lot because that's the issue I ran into. But yeah, riv nuts, and then just shaping. Since these weren't made for this car, I just gotta shape a lot more. The front, I threw a quick little coat of paint on, not any clear coat. But yeah, I already measured. I gotta get 1.5" wheel spacers to get the wheels out where I want them. Something I forgot in the last video though, pop it up right here. This is our running total right now. But yeah, stay tuned for the next one. Sorry this one's been a train wreck.